Even though the Jimny is a compact vehicle, it is still a serious 4x4, and I want to be comfortable as an adult sitting in the back. Look at the ample leg room that I've got, lots of headroom. I've got grab handles so that I can secure myself on those rough roads. Even a very cleverly designed recess in the panel, so I've got lots of arm space. And have a look at this nifty foot seat release that I've got for extra convenience. Sitting in the cockpit of the Jimny, one can immediately see that the ergonomics have been well thought out. Everything's in its place. It's easy to reach. I hardly have to take my eyes off the road to initiate any of the functions. That includes the large diameter meters, which means I can quickly have a look at what speed I'm going, perhaps what revs my engine's at. In addition to that, you'll notice that the interior of the vehicle has all smooth surfaces, whether it's the air vents, whether it's the controls on the radio, whether it's the store controls, even the inside of the paneling is nice and smooth. And this is to prevent secondary injuries from our arms moving around at speed when we're in an accident. They don't have a seatbelt. We've got to make sure that we don't create any secondary injuries. In the event of an accident, we don't have the benefit like we do on an aircraft of having an air hostess give us the brace command. This is where our pre-tensioning seatbelts come into play. And during the accident, a pyrotechnic device will tighten up our seatbelt, pull us back into our seat. In order to maximize the effectiveness of the airbag, we have a load limiting device that allows us a little bit of forward movement so that we meet the airbag at the correct position. The Jimny has two front airbags. One of the important things to remember is that you must use your seatbelt in conjunction with the airbag. It doesn't replace the seatbelt. An airbag is known as a supplementary restraint system. The seatbelt is known as a primary restraint system. The way an airbag is effective is in the fact that it distributes a large amount of force over a larger area, compared to if without an airbag, your head had to impact on a very small area of the steering wheel. There are a number of convenient storage locations in the Jimny. Amongst others, we've got a nice open area over here where we can put large items. Underneath it, we have a reasonably sized glove compartment. In front of the gear lever, we can slot our keys. Next to the handbrake, we have quite a nice deep recess so that we can put stuff in that doesn't move around the vehicle. We've also got two cup holders located behind the handbrake. In the rear, we've spoken about the recessed paneling. It's also an area where passengers can put a few items. And lastly, each passenger does get their own cup holder. The center console houses the integrated radio. One of the things I'd like to highlight, please, is make sure that you understand what each of the functions of each of these buttons is for. There's a lot of value add that you can illustrate to your customer. Moving down from the radio now, we go to the ergonomically positioned air conditioning controls, and situated below the air conditioning controls are the drive active four-wheel drive selector buttons. These buttons replace the traditional gear lever that we would have had, the small little gear lever, and makes it really, really easy to regulate and select what drive we want to have. If we start on the left, on hard road conditions, we can select two-wheel drive. Simply at the push of a button, you'll have an indicator on the cluster that tells you what drive you're in. When we get to more slippery surfaces and loose surfaces, we can engage four-wheel drive, and we can do this at speeds of up to 100 kilometers an hour. The Jimny also has a four-wheel drive low range. Simple click of the button engages the low range, but please remember that the vehicle has to be stationary when you select the low range. Once you've done your 4x4ing, always a good idea to unbind the gearbox. It gets nice and tight, is to take the vehicle out of low range, put the vehicle in reverse, and drive the vehicle backwards. That'll ensure that your gears don't get stuck in any particular setting. The Jimny is a seriously capable 4x4 off-road vehicle. And this is illustrated with the hardy mechanical nature of the 4x4 system. If we have a look at the front locking hubs, in the old days we might have had to lock these by hand, but the Jimny nowadays uses pneumatics, and at the touch of a button they lock the hubs. Other things that point towards the hardy mechanical nature of the 4x4 system include the transfer case, as well as the low range ability of the transfer case. Another interesting feature with the Jimny's 4x4 system is that the front and rear differential are not placed in the center of the vehicle like others. They are offset. The driver now sits above the differentials and is always aware of their position so that the driver can easily avoid hitting objects that might be in the road. The Jimny comes with a standard 3-year, 100,000 kilometer warranty and a 4-year, 60,000 kilometer service plan. The Jimny is a vehicle filled with character and carries on with the giant killing abilities of its predecessors. The latest version is improved in every way, from the modern interpretation of the SJ grille to the ride, performance and comfort.